For this project I want to draw this Happy Valentine's Day greeting, and you can see I've got a rose and a couple of hearts. Okay, to get started we just need to put a dot in the middle of the paper like that, and then put two fingers over there. Now we're going to make dots beside our fingers, but we're also going to leave a gap. We want a space that's wider than two fingers, so your two fingers should fit in it and there should still be room on both sides. We want this pretty far apart. This is how wide our rose is going to be. Now I'm going to sketch this very lightly at first because I want to get it shaped up before I darken it in. So you can see we're going to have a great big U shape, kind of maybe like a cereal bowl with tall sides. And once I'm satisfied that it looks right, I'll go ahead and darken it in. And I'm using a pen. I don't recommend that you draw with a pen because you can't make corrections. But I'm drawing with a pen because I already sketched it and got it the way I wanted it. And now I'm just darkening it in so you can see it better. Alright, go to this point right here and hook on, and we're going to come over to this other side like this. So watch me and then you can do it. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, and we need a line something like that. If it's not exactly like that, it'll be okay. Now we're going to go back up here and we're going to put a big letter C right there and hook on. Make sure this all hooks together right there. It's just exactly like a letter C. Now we're going to hook back on to the top of the C shape and bend it until you can run it down to where the first line ended or started, whichever you want to think of it as. Right there. It should look like that. And if it's not exactly like that, it'll be okay. Now hook onto the other side and just bring it over and hook onto the line somewhere in there. It could be a little bit different, it's fine. This is going to be like the front of a letter D. It's just a kind of a backwards C, and it's about the same as the other. Right here like this. And now we're going to hook on the top of that and bend it so that we can run it to the same place the first one went, or close. It don't have to be exact, just in the same general area like that. That's good enough right there. Next comes the centerpiece of the rose, and it's just going to be an oval. And I'm just going to start by making an oval like that, and then I'm going to put some other ovals in the middle, but they're going to be a little bit scribbly. And you can even have a line that takes off another direction if you want to, like that. And then it's time to work on the stem. So for the stem, we need to drop down below the rose, in the middle now. I mean, line up in the middle of the rose and just drop down and bring a line straight down. It should be just like a flagpole, and then another really skinny line. Just like that. Now we're going to hook on, and this just slants up to catch up under the rose, both sides, and that should work. Now the leaves are going to go like this. There's 1, 2, and you can just let your eyes tell you how long to make those lines. Your eyes are very powerful, and they can tell you more than I can tell you with my words. Now it's just like a rainbow, except that when we get on the other side we swing it out. That makes the shape of the leaf. Same thing on the bottom, but it's upside down. It's a curved line that swings out on the end, comes to meet the other one, and it's a pretty good looking leaf. And while I'm in there, I'm just going to go ahead and put a few detail lines. The veins in the leaf are easy to draw. We'll just go ahead and get them. Same thing other side. We're going to jump over from the stem a little bit and start our rainbow shape. But when we come around, we'll swing it out. One more time upside down. It's just a curved line. Get to the other side, we just swing it out to meet the first one. And that's a pretty good shape for a leaf. Looks pretty good in my opinion. And once again, we'll put the veins on the leaf because we're right there and it's easy to do. A lot of times I'll leave the detail for last, but in this case, we'll just go ahead and put it in. You don't have to add thorns, but if you do want to add thorns, you can do it like this. Or you can just leave them off. And then we're going to write our greeting up at the top. So the rose looks pretty good. Now we've just got to work on the lettering. And I'm going to do bubble letters for that, but you don't have to. You can just do single stroke letters. That will be fine. I'm going to go near the top of the paper. I'm about 2 fingers down from the top. I put a dot. And I'm going to do bubble letters and spell out Happy Valentine's Day. And you can make your bubble letters different than I'm making mine if you wish. It's really good to have the bottoms of the letters line up, but if they don't, it'll be okay. You can see my H is not very perfectly formed, but you know what? It's fine. Now for the A, I do something like a C and then put the back stem on it, and I just double up that line. Now if you've got your own way of creating bubble letters, that's fine. You can do it your way. This works for me. Do whatever works for you. And if you prefer not to do bubble letters, if you just want to make them single stroke letters, that's okay too. For the P, I like to put the back piece in first. And then the top is kind of like a letter D, only I make it very round, kind of big and round, because I know there's another line going inside of that one. Now the Y, I'm going to do this part, and then I'm going to do the bottom. We'll do the next Y different. I'm going to go this way and then bring it back. Now if that's uncomfortable to you or doesn't make sense, just do the Y the way you want to do it. I thought I would try something different, and I do that a lot when I'm doing art. I experiment. I see how things turn out. If it doesn't turn out very well, I know that I can usually erase it and it won't be a problem. Now we're going to try to get Valentine's Day on one line. So I'm going to start way over here on the left. There's the first part of my V. There's the second part of the V. Good work takes time, so we're not in a rush. Once again, I'm just putting a very light line to help me line the bottoms of the letters up. And if they're not perfectly lined up, it'll be okay. Here's that A again. A's are easy to make. When we get to the E's, those aren't so easy. The L is very easy, probably the easiest one. There, simple. Here's that E. Now do the middle piece and then go way up like a rainbow. Swing that way up before you do the bottom, because we've got to fit another line inside of here, and that is tight. So we had to make the first line go up and big in order to have room for the new lines in the middle. Ends aren't too bad, pretty simple. I'm going very slow because, well, good work takes time. Now I'm going to try to get the T to line up pretty well with the tops of these other tall letters. It just looks better if it's neat and uniform, consistent. That means that the tall things are about the same and the short things are about the same. It doesn't have to be. The I is very simple also. Just going to work my way through here. There's the N. Here's the E. The E's, once again, just a reminder, you got to make the top piece really big. I didn't do so well on that one. It'll work though. I'm going to do the S, and then I'll do the apostrophe, and S's are the toughest letters. They're really hard. So what I do is I double up the top piece and let it run into the middle, and then the same thing on the bottom. Now you can just leave it like that. That's a good looking S. Here's the apostrophe, but some people, like that middle piece to be double stroked too, so you have to erase a little bit. I've not figured out a great way to do S's. There is a way, but it's really even harder than this. So you can erase that, and then you can double stroke the middle to kind of clean that up. It's okay if you don't, because then you erase, and that can sometimes make smudges. Now, be sure you space over a good bit for day. You don't want that D right up against that S. So move over, leave a space, and double stroke the back of your D. And then the rest is easy. The A is not hard to do. Just coming on around. Now I'll do the Y a different way this time. I'm going to do the upper portion of it and then swing that down for the bottom. Like I said earlier, I like to experiment and try different things, and in the end both Y's look the same to me. Now if you're going to do these hearts with me, and you don't have to, you need to put two dots that are spread apart, one over top of the other, and ever how far you spread those dots apart, that's how big your heart's going to be. Then it's a rainbow shape that comes down to meet the dot. Rainbow shape, then you bend it, and run it to the dot. Now, this heart will not be very symmetrical because we're making it, with single strokes, and it's just really hard to get something to turn out symmetrical drawing this way. I'm going to try to put another heart in the same place on the other side, that lines up with the first one. Just double checking that. Now I'm going to start with the two dots once again. Rainbow shape, and then I just bring it down. You have to bend that line toward that bottom dot like that. These are just simple, easy hearts. On other art projects, I take a long time just to get the heart, shaped up a little better. Now, if you don't want an arrow going through your heart, you don't have to add these lines. If you do want the arrows, try to keep those in line with each other. It would be a straight line if we kept going, but you see it's kind of goes into the heart under it and then comes back out, and the arrow on the end just starts with a flat line and kind of a pointed shape on top of it. Now I'm going to do the arrow a different way over here. It's the same. I'm going to draw it the same, but I'm going to make it go a different direction. Same thing. Start the tip with a flat line. It comes across, kind of looks like a T. One that's leaned over anyway. Here are the feathers. I'm just keeping these really simple. These do not need to be, real fancy. You can make them as fancy as you want. And there we go. That's pretty much it. Next would be the coloring. And I've got one that's already colored that I'll show you. And you can change the colors. So here's what mine looks like. And you can decide if maybe you want your rose to be red and your letters pink. It's up to you. I do like the green that I used on the rose stem and the leaves. That's Those, in my opinion, are just pretty colors. And the thorns, I made them brown, and off camera I did move that one thorn up a little bit because it just bothered me that it was so close to the leaf. And now I'm going to color for a little while. Now, I like to use the lighter colors first because the darker colors will cover them up anywhere you run over the line, as long as you don't do it too badly. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some red on this A, and I've got a little bit of yellow on there. Red will work great. Now if I were using pink, it wouldn't cover up that yellow as well. It would cover it up a little bit, but you can put darker colors over lighter colors very easily, but you cannot put light colors over dark ones. It just won't work out very well. So when you're coloring, if you can save your darker colors to last, that's great. And if that's not convenient, then just be careful when you put the dark colors on that you don't get them over the lines too badly. Or if you do, just be careful when you're filling in around them not to streak it in, because those streaks will not look good. Coloring is a skill that takes a little while to learn. It's not really hard to learn. It's easy to learn with practice, and just follow a few rules. So one of the rules is try to put your light colors on first and then your dark colors over them. Now I see where I missed an area, so I'm going to fill that in a little bit right there. Alright, now on with the P. I'm just going to fill those in. Sometimes I just use a little round and round stroke. It's just kind of easier. Get these little specks on there. Sometimes when you wipe those off, you'll put streaks all across the paper, and that's not good. It's just what happens when you work with a crayon. So when you rub that, it can create streaks. There comes my yellow. Alright, get that out of the way, and here we go. Just finish this Y. It's better if you can tap it and get those off, and if it don't come off, then you just have to rub them, or just maybe leave them there. It's okay. It's just the nature of working with crayons. It's just what happens. Alright, let's go over here to the V. I'm going to fill in the bubble letter here, and now when I'm coloring this yellow in and bumping that red, I may get a few streaks, but they won't be too bad if I'm careful, that is. Alright, that's the project. Here's some music, and I hope it was fun.